today we will be learning the effective communications. This is class 2 of communication, and here we'll talk about effective communication. Now, the effective communication is a communication where you can have maximum understanding. So communication where you have maximum understanding is known as effective communication. Okay, maximum understanding means that whenever you communicate something to the receiver gets the complete message. Whatever was there in your mind, the receiver gets the complete message, and that communication is effective communication. And to ensure that your communication is effective, you have to follow some 7 C's, and you have to follow 4 S. This we have already done in the previous class, right? We have to follow the 4 S, which we have already completed. In today's class, we'll learn about 7 C's of effective communication. Questions on this gets asked every time. So we'll do the question as well in this class. We'll also be talking about the various, effective communication and the different aspects we'll be talking about from where the questions could be asked. The theory also, question also will be covered in this particular class. So yes, let's start. Okay, so let's quickly talk about what is an effective communication. As I said, effective communication is a communication in which there is maximum understanding, means the message has been passed on to the other party effectively also and efficiently also. Efficient means less time and cost. So if I'm doing an effective communication, I'll be able to create understanding in less time and also less cost. Less cost over here means, suppose I'm taking this class, so every class if I'm having 1 hour of time, so I'm utilizing the time maximum, means I am giving you as much information as I can. Fine. So here the time factor is important. Time factor is important. And maximum cost benefit you are getting. For example, obviously Byju's is paying me for the time I'm giving in. So if I'm giving them the best output in this particular one hour of time, so that is an effective communication. Or to make it more clear, let's take up an example of advertisement. Suppose you have given an advertisement in a newspaper. Fine, you have given a new advertisement in a newspaper, so you will be charged for per word. How many words you have in this advertisement, what space it will be taking in the newspaper, you'll be charged accordingly. So effective communication will be a communication which is giving you maximum benefit in terms of cost. So if your message is short, less cost will be there, but as well as it should be effective. That means in less words also it is able to create maximum understanding. Is this point clear? Yes. Okay. So this is what effective communication is. When you are able, in simple words, when you are able to present your views to the receiver in the best possible manner, then that is effective communication. So effective communication is not what you say. Effective communication is not how you say it, but effective communication is related to the result. If you get the result, right? If you get the result, your communication is effective. So if I talk about the characteristics of effective communication, if you want to make your communication effective, obviously the message will be clear, message will be correct, message will be complete, the message should be short, means precise, it should be reliable, means trustworthy, the message should also be made considering the recipient, means you should always think about the receiver, and then only you should communicate. For example, if I am taking this English batch and I'm communicating in English, so it's only because of the receiver, it's only because of you people. So we do take different classes, Hindi bilingual class also we take English class also. Why 2 classes? Because of the audience, right? So here, because you all understand only English, you can't understand Hindi, so we have this batch exclusively for you people. So when you do a communication thinking about the receiver, then that communication is more effective, right? And also courtesy. You should have a polite manner, you should communicate properly. For example, I'm saying the best thing, I'm saying the best thing, and completely in your interest I'm talking about something, but my manner of communication is very rude, I'm not communicating properly, you won't like to listen to me. Now when you're not listening to me, you will not understand. Understanding needs ki you listen to the other party, and if I'm communicating properly, if I'm communicating to you in a manner, then only you listen to me. So it's always necessary ki whenever you are communicating, you should have courtesy. So these are the characteristics. Message should be clear, easy to understand in simple manner. Correct. Just now we learned that message should not have any false thing in the message. Message should be complete. Message should be short. Reliable means the message should be trustworthy. You should communicate only the true things and not the false thing. Always think about the attitude, language, knowledge, education level of the receiver, and then communicate. And also have courtesy. Be humble. Have respect. Whenever you communicate with respect, others will definitely listen to you. Okay. So those were the characteristic. Now effective communication skills. If you also want to do effective communication, you have to develop these skills in you. Questions get asked from here, and question has been asked in 2022 from the effective communication skill. Courtesy means you have the right manner to communicate. You are polite. You are communicating with respect. Now suppose if someone is talking to you and someone is telling you something, but his manner of communicating is not good, we get offended. We don't listen to that person. Instead we get angry, you know. We get angry. We just either walk away or we just stop that person. You don't talk to me. If you want to talk in this manner, don't talk. I don't want to listen to you, है ना? But if that person would have communicated in a respectful manner, in a right manner, you would have listened to that person and you would have tried to understand it, है ना? So this is what courtesy is. Courtesy means you should have right manner of communicating. Now, if you want your communication to be effective, these are the skills you should follow, or you should be having, or you should develop in you. Observance. A person who gain or keep on gaining knowledge. Suppose I'm updated. I'm having all the knowledge. So in any setting, whatever setting I go, I can communicate well. Suppose I'm sitting with the person who are discussing about the political issues, I can talk about the same. If I'm sitting in a place where people are discussing about this war going on, I can talk. If I'm sitting at a place where fashion, music is being discussed, I'll be able to communicate, talk there, because I'm gaining knowledge. You know? So if I have knowledge of different things, then I can communicate well. I will be able to present myself confidently because I have a knowledge. So first thing, if you want to be an effective communicator, is you develop this skill is observance, means keep on gaining knowledge. From wherever you get knowledge, keep on adding to it. You should always communicate very clearly, and brevity means precise, clear and precise manner you should communicate. Listening and understanding, you should listen, not just hear. Hearing is voice falling into your ears, but when you pay attention to it, when you pay attention and when you try understanding the thing, that is what listening is. So listening means you listen to the other person, you are alert, you are patient, you are listening and trying to understand the message. And if you understand other person, then only you can communicate well. Suppose I am communicating to someone and I don't understand him, I don't understand his emotions, I don't understand his knowledge level, so I won't be able to communicate to him properly. So to communicate, it's very important to know your audience, and for that you have to do listening and understanding. Okay, voice gone. Please once refresh. Fix audio and video. Great, Truffle. Glad to have you over here. Fix audio and video, guys, if you're not having the audio or video anything. 8 minutes. Okay, next. You should also have emotional intelligence. Right? You should have emotional intelligence, because if you are aware of the emotions of others, then only you can communicate well. And that means, having said that, communicate well. Suppose you are not happy today, or suppose you didn't qualify for any examination you are preparing, and I cleared that examination. So I came rushing to you and started talking. I cleared this examination. I'm so happy and all this thing. Now you will not like it. You will not like it because you didn't clear, and I'm now showing it off to make you feel bad because you didn't. And I should just tell you, yes, I cleared this examination, but I'm feeling very bad for you. Don't worry, you can clear this examination next time. You see, I followed all these things. So if you want, you can take help from these things as well. So this is how you can communicate. Okay, this is how you can communicate. So this is what emotional intelligence is. Next है self-efficacy and confidence. Both are same. Self-efficacy and confidence is the same thing. You have confidence कि yes, I will get good result. This is what efficacy is. Efficacy means having confidence on you कि you can get best results. ठीक है? So whatever you are doing, suppose I'm teaching, so I have confidence कि yes, I'll be able to do this. I have this capability, I can do this. So this is what self-efficacy and confidence. When you are confident, you will be able to communicate well. Is it clear? Voice issue, anyone facing voice issue, once please reload. I'm waiting. Reload, please. I'll start only when you confirm everything is fine. Fine now. Okay. Yes. If it is clear, let's move ahead. So I'll just quickly go through the points. If in case, like you were saying, there was voice issues. So if in case anyone missed, you will be clear with this too. Very easy, very simple. Nothing we have learned very complicated over here. First thing is you should be a person who likes to gain knowledge, because then only you can communicate anywhere. Next is you should communicate very clearly in a simple manner and also brief, very important. Because you know na, ki you don't like to listen to someone who's like talking and who's like keep on talking. And if he can say something in one line, he's doing it in 3 lines. So we don't like that kind of a communication. So you should be very clear and brief. You should also listen to the audience so that you can understand your receiver. Because when you understand others, then you will be able to communicate well. You should have emotional intelligence. You should understand others' emotions, because if you communicate according to the other person's emotion or emotional state, then that person will listen to you and will understand you. These two are the same thing. Self-efficacy means faith on your capability, that yes, you can do something whatever you are going to do, and that is what a confidence is. You have confidence ki yes, I can do it. So these are some skills. As well as respectful. When you communicate, do it very respectfully. You should also learn the non-verbal way of communicating. Like we say, body language is very important. You should also use your body language when you are communicating. Hand gestures, facial expressions, all these are required when we do communication. Also, right medium. Like if I'm communicating to the illiterate people, if I have to communicate to illiterate people, and for that I'm choosing newspaper, is that a right way of communicating to the audience? No. If I'm communicating to illiterate, I should go with the audio thing. Like for example, I can communicate on radio, so then it will reach to them. Providing feedback is also necessary so that you as a sender is able to make your audience understand, also take their feedback. When you are taking the feedback now, you'll understand whether the receiver is getting your point or not. If they are getting your point, very good. Then what you can do is you can keep on communicating like this. But if the receiver not understanding, you can change your way of communication. For example, I keep on asking, are you getting my point? If you say no, so I'll make changes, I'll make you understand it. So this is what the effective communication skills are. Now, most important part, 7 C's of effective communication. So what are 7 C's of effective communication? So it's nothing but the 7 types of C's that we have to incorporate whenever we are communicating. If we incorporate these 7 C's in our communication will become very effective. So let's talk about them. The first one is the message has to be complete. Fine. You have to make your message. You have to make your message complete. That means it should have what? I think the PPT is not the one that I should have used. Okay, no worries. First of all, I'll complete this topic and then I'll check the PPT. Hanji, complete means all the details, all the facts required should be there. And all facts should be there. Facts, information should be complete. For example, tomorrow I will take your class on YouTube at 10 a.m. and the topic will be so and so. So this is now a complete message. You will not have any confusion. Tomorrow on YouTube class will be taken. The timing is 10 and this is the topic. The message is complete. Will you have any problem? No. Will you come to me back asking me? No. So what reduces the follow-up? This has been asked in one of your previous year. Which of the following C reduces the follow-up? Follow-up means when you keep on coming to me for clarification. When the message is complete, follow-up will not be required because you have got the message in one go. Okay, this is the time, this is the topic, this is the place. No need to ask anything else. So this is what the completeness is. Then after completeness, your message has to be concise. Message has to be to the point, least possible words. Without foregoing other C's, it means you should keep the least possible words, but also you should make your message complete. Just stick to the details, just stick to the main point. Don't add on extra things which is not required, but also add those details which is required by your receiver. Okay? So concise means you should not use any filler words. There are many words which we use, like you see, I mean, literally, basically. These kinds of filler words should be avoided. Unnecessary sentences should be avoided. And if you have repeated some point several times, don't do that. Like we keep on repeating one point but in a different way, so that should be avoided. So these are this is some point that you have to follow to make your message concise. Clear? Next point, coherent. Message has to be logical. Fine, you should stick to the main point and the flow should be consistent. You should not jump to this topic and then you talk about this and then you start talking about something else and then you start talking about something else. So your audience will not be able to link all this thing. So if you want your message to be understood completely, then your message has to be logical. The message has to be coherent. Fine, related to the topic, and the flow should be consistent, like we are doing. We first learned what is effective communication. We did the characteristic and now we are coming to 7 C's. It's very easy to catch up because everything is logical. But instead, if I would have talked about 7 C's, then I would have explained what is effective communication. So you will get confused, right? Or you might get confused. So that should not be done. Next is the message has to be clear. Clarity means the goal should be clear. You should know exactly why you are here, why you are going to communicate. Because if you're not sure, audience will not be. So what is the purpose with this person you are going to communicate? It should be clear. You should also make sure that whatever you are saying it very clearly. You're not hiding something or making or thinking, yes, my audience will understand. So there should be no assumptions like this. Even though my audience will understand. No, don't think like this. If you have something to say it completely, say it clearly. Don't think that the audience will understand. Fine. So this is what written. Make sure easy for your reader to understand. People shouldn't have to read between the lines and make assumption on their own to understand what you are trying to say. Right? So be very clear. Say whatever you want to say. Is this point clear? All the 4 points clear we did. So what we did is we did complete. Message has to be complete. Message has to be concise. Message has to be clear. And the message, whatever you are communicating, has to be coherent, logical. Next, message has to be concrete, means particular. The message has to be very, very particular. Fine. Clear rather than fuzzy. So you should be very particular. You should be clear. You should not be fuzzy general. Example. Like if you want something, you ask for it. You should not drop hints and think that yes, other will understand. For example, you want to go out, you should go ask, yeah, I want to go out, I'm going out, and this is the time by which I will return back. So you're telling all the things completely and clearly. So you are concrete. You're not like dropping hints. Today I'm not feeling good. I wish I could have been out. And then you start telling all my friends going out, and then thinking ki mummy will also understand and she will allow me. Okay, if your friends are going, why don't you go out with them? No, don't think like that. Fine. If you want, be very particular, clear, say it. You can't expect the audience will understand when you are not saying it completely and clearly. Clear? So the message has to be clear, particular, and not fuzzy and general. When your message is concrete, audience has a clear picture of what you are telling. Fine. So when your message is concrete means when your message is particular, your audience will understand what you want to say. So they will not have any confusion. Next, the message has to have courtesy. Message has to have courtesy means have to be polite. Also, the message has to be correct, means no error in communication, no grammatical mistake in your communication message. For example, if I say, yesterday I will take a class on YouTube at 10 a.m., please do join. You will be confused, isn't it? Yesterday I will take class on YouTube. You say, what it is? What is this? What do you want to say? Yesterday you have taken class or you will be taking class. So this is what this is what is incorrect message. Grammatical error will be there. So if I say tomorrow I will take your class, so then this is a correct message. Fine. So these are 7 C's which we will repeat quickly. All right. So the first thing we did is the message has to be complete so that the follow-up is not required. So you have to give all the details, right? You have to add all the details required. You should also make sure that you don't miss important parts. You do not parts from the message that your audience will follow up later. Then the message has to be concise. That means message has to be short as possible, as short as possible. Keep it to the point. Fine. Next we did is the message has to be coherent. Message has to be logical. The flow has to be correct. Fine. Next we did is the message has to be correct. Let's take it correct. So it should be having no mistakes. Okay. What we did else? The message has to be concrete. Concrete means it should be very particular. You should not be general. Fine. You should be particular. For example, I'm here, so I should talk about communication only. I should stick to my point and I should not just give you all the details and everything. So I should be very, very particular about the topic we are learning and not I start teaching everything about communication in this class only. Right. So it should not be a general thing, but it should be a particular and I'll stick to that point. Also concrete means you should not just say a general thing like all the girls should do this, right? I expect all the girls should do this, but you should say, okay, students of my class, I expect you to do all these things. So when you are very particular and not general, your audience will understand it better. The message has to have clarity. means you should know the goal. Why are you going to communicate? Goal should be clear to you. Because if you're clear why I'm going to communicate, the audience will be clear too. As well as if I talk about the goal now, along with the goal, the message, if you're framing, it should be very, very clear to the audience, said clearly to the audience. That means it should not be something in which you are hiding important things and make the audience guess. So if you leave your audience to guess now, so they won't be able to guess, or there is a chance there might be misunderstanding. So don't let them assume things and just say it clearly. And you should be having courtesy. Okay, you should have courtesy. That means you should be polite, humble, you should be respecting. You should respect your audience. Is it clear? Any point, any confusion? No, there is no such sequence. You should know all the seven C's. That's it. There's no such sequence, and that is why I have written it in a, like, I've not written it in sequence like I thought. I've written it. Okay, I've just mixed it. I've written something above, something below, like this. Now, no, it's no. There is no sequence. Now, talking about some questions related to this topic, we'll do. The one is decision trap. So I will explain this concept through this question, but before that, I'll ask you to please attend this question yourself, and then we'll look into the explanation of it. So, which of these are decision trap pertaining to thinking and planning activity? Okay, so let's quickly see the answer to this question. Many are saying it will be B, many saying D. So the answer to this question will be D only. Many have said it right. So talking about what are the various decision traps. So this has been explained by Russo and Shoemaker. What it is, talking about the various decision traps. So first of all, what is exactly a decision trap? A decision trap are those behaviors that make you take incorrect decisions, that make you think the other way around and you take incorrect decisions due to that. So what are the things due to which you fall into this decision trap? What are the reasons why you end up taking an incorrect decision? This has been explained by them. So they have given 10 reasons why you encounter this decision trap, or you do this mistake. First is plunging in. So you're not thinking about the problem, what is the problem, but you just dive in. There are people now who rush. If they have something, they rush, they start doing, but they don't sit back, think properly about the gravity of the problem, and then they start doing. So plunging is just rushing in. They don't think properly, they just rush in and do things, get the things done. Frame blindness. You are not clear about the problem. You took the wrong problem. So that is frame blindness. For example, the problem with you, for example, you're preparing for UGC net examination, the problem with you is time management. Right. So the problem with you is time management, but you started working on something else. Like you didn't thought of this problem, but you start solving, or you start asking teachers. I'm attending classes on a regular basis. Still, I'm not getting the questions correct. What is the problem? Please let me know. This course is not helping me. So you start doing something else instead of taking of finding out the solution for your own problem. So that is what frame blindness is. You're not very clear about where the problem is, what the problem is exactly. Poor frame control. Poor frame control means acceptance of others' limited and wrong definition of the problem. So when you have a frame control, poor frame control, frame means, in research design we have done, research design is also known as a framework. So it means first the plan. Your plan is not correct. Your problem you don't know, the plan is not correct. You don't have much control over the problem, over the situation. You don't take control, but what you do is you take others responsibility. If this person will try now, then this only can be done. I can't do anything. So this also happens to us. We start depending on others, they will get our problem solved. So that is a poor frame control, right? So these three, These three are the thinking and planning activities. These are the decision trap which is related to our thinking. We don't understand the problem completely. That is frame blindness. We think the others can solve my problems, and we don't plan our problems well. So that is what the poor frame control is. And the next is plunging in, just diving into and start solving the problem without looking into it, without understanding your problem. So these are thinking issues. These are thinking decision traps. Next, overconfidence, taking shortcuts, being unsystematic. These are your personal quality. When you are very overconfident, this also will lead you to taking incorrect decisions. Sometimes we do take up incorrect decisions just because we are very overconfident. We start taking shortcuts, which is also not will not prove good every time, and you're not systematic, right? So this is also going to get you into decision traps. And then these are processing. Processing means something related to your doing. Poor group process means you're not managing the group well. Ignoring negative feedback, sometimes negative feedbacks help us grow, sometimes negative feedback help us solve the problem or solve the issues well, because when we ignore the negative feedback, we are not working on our weaknesses, and that will actually lead us into problem. So ignoring negative feedback, not keeping records, and not auditing means checking the issues, checking things in time. So this is going to lead us into decision trap, and it is related to processing skill. Am I clear? You have to note it down after the class. Yes, after the class, you can note it down. These are some decision traps. One is plunging in, you just dive into directly. Then is frame blindness, you're not aware of the problem completely. Then is the poor frame control, you don't have proper control, you don't have proper plan, and you think others can solve the problem. Whereas you don't take the responsibility of the same. Next is related to personal quality, when you are very overconfident, when you take shortcuts, or when you are not systematic. Then related to processing skill, when you don't plan or when you don't manage the group well, so that is poor group failure, means you don't assign work to the group, you don't manage or don't see what the group's doing, what the group member doing or not. Then you are ignoring the negative feedback, you're not taking into consideration the negative feedback that is coming, because that is very important. You're not keeping record, and you're not checking. So checking means auditing means you are looking into okay, what is going wrong, how can it be corrected. So if you're doing something, you should always keep a track on the wrong things, and you should make corrections timely, otherwise it'll end up in the decision trap. So now the question that was being asked, it's related to thinking. So not keeping record is processing skill, overconfident is personal, plunging is in his thinking, this is thinking, and this is thinking, है ना? We just did. So CDE will be the answer, thinking wala. Now this question must be clear. Effective communication does not require what? Very easy question this is, although this is your previous year question. Yes, absolutely. Handsome appearance has nothing to do with effective communication, because it is you have to create understanding, and for understanding, your appearance don't matter. No, voice modulation is required. Voice modulation hoga side priya. Why not? Like na, when teacher teaches, so they go for voice modulation. They stress on some, even if we communicate. So we do stress on some important points, like I just did. I stressed on some points, and then if some points are not that important, we'll just walk through it, right? So voice modulation is required so that we can stress on some important points, because if we stress, audience will pay more attention, and then they will understand better. Proper gestures, body movement should be there, and you should keep on the people involved. If the students are involved, they are listening, so they will understand. You know? So there are some effective communication. Make what all you need to do is mention properly. You should encode. You should deliver through appropriate channel. You should see that the message is received. They are properly decoding it. You are using appropriate gesture. You are using proper body language. Having voice modulation so that you stress on the words. Student ko you should involve, because if you are involving students, everyone is engaged, so they will understand better. Handsome appearance has nothing to do with the effective communication. Now, feedback reflects the reaction of audience when. I'll give you poll for this. Just read it and switching on the poll. So poll starting in everyone in a second. Hanji, please go ahead. Hanji. The correct answer will be option number D. Feedback reflects the reaction of audience when one knows the effect of communication. Means we get to know what's the effect of communication. Are we able, or if I'm communicating, am I able to make the proper impact on my audience, whatever I desired? One knows the quality of the content of the message. So we get to know the quality of the message as well as future prospect, how I should communicate from now. But financial implication, no, nothing related to financial implication. Feedback reflects the reaction of the audience, and you get to know the effect you created. You get to know the quality of content, because if the content was good, the audience would have understood it, and how you should communicate from this point to the audience, you will understand it well. So this is what the correct answer will be, these three. Next, part which comes through the connectedness of one's word matching one's feeling, body, facial expression in the communication process is known as conformity, congruence, collaboration, control. So when your words matches your body language, like what I'm saying and what looks from my body language, from my way of saying matches, is in sync. So what is this known as? Conformity, congruence, collaboration, yeah, control. I'm switching on code. Yes. And 40% students correct. Answer will be congruence. So what is this? Congruence actually means you are able to deliver the message effectively, right? And it reduces the likelihood of message to be understood, right? So basically the congruence means state of agreeing, state of coinciding, right? When two things are congruent, we have learned congruent lines in mathematics. So congruent lines is when two things agree, when two things matches. So when your verbal as well as non-verbal communication or the message matches each other, so that is the state of congruence. It's not known as conformity. Collaboration is like when you work with something, and control, no, the answer will be congruence, and this is what we have to learn. These are some important, like the concepts, or you can say communication may our language will also be tested. The communication test our language as well. So we should be having firm control or command over the language we are choosing, like English or Hindi. So this, what is the meaning of congruent communication, you should be knowing. So make a short note of it. Identify the correct 4S of communication. Switching on goal. So 40% only. Why? We did this now in previous class. Message has to be short, simple, strength, and sincerity. We didn't learn the systematic part, symbolic part, or stability in the previous class. So this we have done, 4S we have done in first class of teaching aptitude. Communication, sorry. So efficacy of written communication depends upon. Acha. So efficacy of written communication, that means the message will be able to create impact. So starting poll, please answer. Just eliminate, you'll understand. All right, so many said D. Correct answer is C. 38% will be correct. Let's understand why. Lengthy, if the message is lengthy, so obviously it will not be effective. We just did concise. So this is opposite to concise. So nahi hoga. Message has to be simple, right? Simply stated. So then this is not correct. But you should edit before writing. After writing, sorry. Edit after writing means you should just write and recheck it. If you find no, this should not be done or this should not be written, so you should edit it. So yes, this is required if you want your written communication to be effective. Then you should always recheck before sending. Message has to be brief. Use strong words or effective words. So the answer is effective use of words should be there. Strong words means you are using jargons or technical words, which sometimes may create confusion. Like this Amir Khan in which movie was it? PK? No, it was Three Idiots. When he went back and he said the whole definition of book, he used very strong words, but no one, not even his professor, was able to understand why, because it was too technical. So we should not use strong words. We should not use strong words. We should use easy, simple words, which can make our audience understand. है ना? Brevity means brief. Brief we just did. Short. Clear? Chale. Next. Given below two statements, one is assertion, one is reason. Which one is correct? Assertion, reason, or both? with explanation? All right, so I'm switching on poll. %64%. Well done. Answer is this. A is not correct because it is saying repeating same message, make same point, same message important. No, repetition should not be there. We have done. You should make your message concise. See if there is repetition, avoid it. So this is not right. But don't use two words if you can use just one word. So this is correct. Both related to concise. So R is correct. A is not correct. Screen not change. Please refresh. Next, dynamics of effective communication in classroom. So I'm switching on poll, and all of you please answer on poll itself. And yes, poll started. Very good. It will be D. Teacher centric listening. So it means you are not involving students, because teacher centric means students are not involved. And when the students are not involved, communication will not be effective, because being involved make your communication more effective when everyone is active. So first point is not correct, and we can eliminate these two options. Promoting one-way action. One-way communication, one-way action will not be effective. Two-party involvement will make your communication effective. In ignoring the students' inhibition, ignoring what they think, what they understand, will make your communication ineffective, because we have to consider the recipient. We have learned. But balancing interaction and static element means you should interact also, and then there are static element where you have to just communicate, explain the point in a classroom. Yes, this is right. Brainstorming procedure. Brainstorming means you ask your students for some idea, means you're making them active. You are involving, which will make your communication effective. Understand the learner's sociometry. You are understanding your learner. You are understanding their point. So their social background, everything. So that is going to make your communication effective. So we can eliminate. If we eliminate, we'll get. Okay, we'll get the answer. So the answer was D. Next, following seven is a component of 7C of communication. Very quickly, you can just eliminate. All right. So mixed responses. Many said it will be concentration. Component of 7C. Consideration of recipient. Or we can say receiver. We should consider the receiver when we communicate. So which 7C talks about it? We have done now that we should be very polite, we should communicate, we should have a goal, we should have clarity. So all this indicates that whenever you're communicating, you should be considering the recipient, make proper goals according to them, and communicate well. So communication, coordination or concentration nahi, but 7C's mein concentration aayega. Next, not correct about the concept of effective communication. So although I haven't explained this verbal, non-verbal wala part, but still I expect you will be able to say 49%. Yes. So no worries. Those who don't know this concept, we will be learning it in verbal and non-verbal communication class. So this will be done. You can also use elimination technique for the same. For effective decoding, language is very vital. Yes, the way we communicate, the language we use to communicate to our receiver, for that will make the decoding process effective or ineffective. Matlab, if I can understand the language, then only I'll be able to understand the message. Feedback is immediate in oral communication. Yes. Higher the level, more the chance of distortion of the message. Yes, the more levels the message has to pass, the distortion is very common. But if I say about kinesics, it's not about space and distance. Kinesics is about movement of body in communication, whereas about space and distance, it is proximus, which we will do in the coming class. No verbal, non-verbal. Next, here is higher. Higher the levels, तो जितने ज़्यादा levels होंगे, there are chances of distortion of message. If we don't have much levels, we just have 1 or 2 levels, so there the distortion of message is not common. Next, assertion reason related to video calling. So just read it quickly and let me know. Answer. I'll just switch on the poll in while. Yes. So 57 said A is right, but no, video calling is not direct communication. This is indirect communication. Indirect means using a medium. Direct means face to face. So when I'm doing a video call now, I'm using a medium, and that medium is my mobile phone. So indirect communication video call is. So A is incorrect. But video call helps to communicate anytime, anywhere through availability of technical support and internet. So this is right. So this is indirect, and under indirect it is synchronous. Yes, exactly. So these were some questions. Although we have to do some more points in the effective communication, and that includes context in communication. So context in communication, like physical context, temporal, social and psychological context, and cultural context. So this I will be doing in my next class, and also I will be doing the types of listening in the next class. So 2